Hey guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and in today's video I wanted to talk some about how I interact handling-wise, and just in general, with my more skittish rats. So the first thing I want to talk about is a game I like to play with them, which I call On Again, Off Again. And this game is very simple. Basically, I just lure them onto my hand, and then I put them right back in the cage. And the purpose of this game is it really helps to build their confidence when coming onto my hand. Now, for a more confident rat, you won't need to do an exercise like this, and it might seem kind of silly because, well, a rat hopping onto your hand doesn't seem like much. But when you have a very skittish rat, even just walking onto your hand for a treat can be a huge step. And you might even have to work up to this. For example, in the case of S'more here, I had to work up to her putting one paw on my hand, then 2 paws, then 3 paws, then 4, and now you'll see that she'll just walk onto my hand pretty confidently, which is a huge step. So yeah, I like to play this game mainly because it really helps to, first of all, build confidence when getting onto your hand. And then second of all, it also helps to maintain this confidence, which is really important for these more skittish rats. So for a rat like Coconut, this really doesn't matter. You can see Coconut really doesn't mind being held. She's just a very chillaxed rat. But when we're talking about a rat like S'more, if I were to pick her up, let's see. You can see she is not a fan of being picked up. I basically just violated all of her personal space right there, and I am so sorry, S'more. Anyways, like I said, you really don't want to be violating their personal space. You want to be working with them. And when you have a skittish rat like S'more, you really want to work on building their confidence around you. Now, some rats just aren't confident about being handled, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can see that even though S'more was very unhappy with the way that I handled her right there, she came right back. And, well, not only does that show that rats can get over things pretty easily, but it also shows the amount of trust she's built up in me, because even though I tried to pick her up once and she really hates that, she knows that I'm probably not going to do it again, because over time I've worked on this confidence building thing where she learns to come onto my hand for a treat, and she's learned that most likely when she comes up here and she gets onto my hand, I'm not going to be handling her. This is really important. You want to know what your rat's limits are. Some rats, like Coconut, again, don't need any sort of work, and you can handle them, and they're just not scared at all by it, and they don't mind. Other rats, like my girl Mocha, can learn to tolerate handling pretty well. I think Sugar here is pretty good with handling, although she can sometimes be a little bit iffy about it. But then you have other rats like my girl Spice or my girl S'more here, and they might never like handling. I've had S'more here for a year, and she is not a fan of handling at all. But despite that, she has learned to trust me in quite a significant way, even though it looks very small having her step onto my hand for a treat. And I really think that in the case of these skittish rats, you really need to honor the small things, because even if they look small to you, they can be huge steps for them. So I'm kind of getting off topic here, but like I said, the whole point of this game is for the rat to get onto my hand and for a treat, and then I'm going to go ahead and put them back. You really don't want to do something new with a rat when they're being hesitant about it, because if you do something new with them in that situation, you can accidentally make it a very bad association. And I know it wouldn't be on purpose, but clearly they can't control how they feel about a situation any more than we can. So you just want to wait until they're in a much more positive mindset before moving on. So if I wanted to pick up S'more, which I really don't because you saw how she reacts to it, but if I wanted to, I would wait until she's in a much more positive mindset like this, and then I would pick her up. And you can see she was a lot less freaked out by that because she wasn't feeling all hesitant like she was before. That doesn't mean I'm going to continue picking her up because she is really not a fan of that. Which again, I do want to respect their boundaries. I know that S'more isn't a fan of something like that, so I wouldn't force it on her. Anyways, I just wanted to say that it's a good idea to focus on the small things. I know that it's easy to look at some of my videos with the rats doing tricks and stuff like that and think, okay, they're all perfect little rats, but, you know, they all have their own individual personalities. And just because something appears one way on film definitely doesn't mean that it's, you know, exactly that way. And I thought this video would be a good way to show that, yeah, some of my rats are skittish. They're not fans of being held. Well, not all of them are. Some of them are, but some of them aren't. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that I can't interact with them. S'more here, for example, has featured in several different trick videos, so just the fact that she doesn't like to be handled doesn't mean that I can't interact with her. I've still taught her many tricks. She enjoys chasing things that I drag for her. She enjoys activities like pea fishing, and she's just generally a very happy rat. She doesn't have to be a huge fan of handling in order to be a happy rat with a good life. So yeah, I hope this video is helpful to some people with skittish rats. Even if your rat is skittish, that definitely doesn't mean you can't interact with them, and it's a good idea to try and boost their confidence just by teaching them to come to you on their own. So doing a game like the on-again, off-again game that I showed you is a really good idea, but on top of that, you also want to respect that rats are individuals, and some of them just don't enjoy things or don't have certain things come naturally to them that other rats might. And for these rats, it's okay to respect them. You want to respect their boundaries. Just because a rat doesn't enjoy handling doesn't mean that they can't enjoy interacting with you. So I know this video was a little bit of a mess, but hopefully it is helpful to some people out there who are worried about their rats because they don't enjoy handling or touch or something like that. You can see that even if your rats don't necessarily enjoy these things, it doesn't mean that you can't make progress with them, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't honor the small steps of progress that they make. So I'm going to see you guys later, and hopefully you enjoyed this mess of a video. Bye!